are the headlines. Johnson's biography. Johnson's model. Johnson's assumptions. Johnson's achievements. Life in Lorma Colleges. Here are your anchors, Ray Allen Rodriguez and Christine Heronilia.
Good morning, future nurses.
Good morning, Schoenhofer.
Today is Friday, November 2020.
And you're watching
TAFM News. Dorothy Johnson, 1960 to 1980. The client is a living open system, a collection of behavioral subsystems that interrelated to form a behavioral system. Here's Kyla to talk about the life of Dorothy.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ray Allen Rodriguez. So, Dorothy E. Johnson was born on August 21, 1990. Was one of the greatest nursing theorists who developed the behavioral system model. Her theory of nursing defined nursing as an external regulatory force which acts to preserve the organization and integration of the patient's behavior at an optimum level under those conditions in which the behavior constitutes a threat to the physical or social health or Dorothy Johnson was born in Sabina, Georgia. She was the youngest of the 7 children. Her father was the superintendent of shrimp and the oyster factory, and her mother was very involved and enjoyed in reading. In 1938, she finished her associate's degree in Armstrong Junior College in Savannah, Georgia. Due to the Great Depression, she took a year off from school to be a governess or teacher for 2 children in Miami, Florida. This is when she began to realize her love for children, nursing, and education. In 1948, she received her Master of Public Health from Harvard University in Boston, Massachusetts. After graduation, Dorothy Johnson's professional experience involved mostly teaching, although she was a staff nurse at the Catman Savannah Health Council from 1943 to 1944. She was an instructor and assistant professor in pediatric nursing at Vanderbilt University School of Nursing from 1949 until her retirement in 1978 and her subsequent move to Key Largo, Florida. Johnson was an assistant professor of pediatric nursing, an associate professor of nursing, and a professor of nursing at the University of California, Los Angeles. Johnson was pediatric nursing advisor assigned to the Christian Medical College School of Nursing in Vellore, South India. From 1965 to 1967, she served as a chairperson on the Committee of California Nurses Association that developed a position statement on specification for the clinical specialized.
Johnson's behavioral system model. Here's Darren to talk about Johnson's behavioral system model.
Thank you, Christine. Dorothy Johnson is known for her behavioral system model of nursing, which was first proposed in 1968. Her model states that each individual has pattern, purposeful, and remediative ways that comprises the behavioral system specific to that individual. It advocates a fostering an efficient, effective behavioral functioning in the patient to prevent illness. The patient is defined as a behavioral system composed of 7 behavioral subsystems: affiliative, dependency, digestive, eliminative, sexual, aggressive, and achievement. Each subsystem has also 3 functional requirements, which include first, protection from noxious influence, second, provision of nurturing environment, and third, stimulation for growth. An imbalance in each system results in this equilibrium. The nurse role is to help the patient maintain his or her equilibrium. Back to you guys.
Works. Dorothy Johnson was a prolific writer on the subject of nursing theory. Her many publications on this subject profoundly influenced theoretical thinking in nursing during the second half of the 20th century. Johnson's publications include 4 books, more than 30 articles in periodicals, and many papers, reports, proceedings, and monograms. She held a strong conviction that continuing improvement of care was the ultimate goal of nursing. Her 1968 paper entitled One Conceptual Model of Nursing is a classical contribution to the nursing literature. 2 of her many works written by Johnson include Theory Development, What, Why, and How, and Barriers and Hazards in Counseling. Of the many honors she received, Dorothy Johnson was proudest of the 1975 Faculty Award from graduate students, the 1977 Lulu Hassenplug Distinguished Achievement Award from the California Nurses Association, the 1981 Vanderbilt University School of Nursing Award for Excellence in Nursing. Dorothy Johnson died in February 1999 at the age of 80. Before she died, she was pleased that her theory had been found useful in furthering the development of a theoretical basis for nursing and was being used as a model for her nursing practice on an institutional-wide basis.
Behavioral system model. So, what is behavioral system model? Dorothy Johnson's theory defined nursing as an external regulatory force which acts to preserve the organization and integration of the patient's behavior at an optimum level under those conditions in which the behavior constitutes a threat to the physical and social health or in which illness is found. It also states that each individual has patterned, purposeful, repetitive ways of acting that comprises a behavioral system specific to the individual. Dorothy Johnson began her work on the model with the premise that nursing was a profession that made a distinctive contribution to the welfare of society. Thus, nursing had an explicit goal of action in patient welfare. The goals of nursing are fourfold. According to the behavior system model, the first one is to assist the patient whose behavior is proportional to social demands. Second, to assist the patient who is able to modify his behavior in ways that it supports biological imperatives. Third, to assist the patient who is able to benefit to the fullest extent during illness from the physician's knowledge and skill. And the last one, to assist the patient whose behavior does not give evidence to unnecessary trauma.
Behavioral system model. First is disorganization, interaction, interdependency, and integration of the part and the element of behavior that makes up the system. Second, a system tends to achieve a balance among the various forces operating within and upon it, and that man continually strive to maintain a behavioral system balanced and steady state by more or less automatic adjustment and adaptation to the natural forces impinging upon him. Third, a behavioral system which is required on outcomes is a few diploma of regulatory and fidelity in conduct is crucial to guide, that is to say, it is functionally significant in that it serves as useful purpose both in social life and for the individual. And lastly, the final assumption states system balance reflect adjustment and adaptation that are successful in some ways and to some degree.
And we are back. The major concepts of Johnson's model. The following are the major concepts and definition of Johnson's model, including the definition for its nursing method paradigm. Human beings. Johnson views human being as having a two major system, the biological system and the behavioral system. It is the role of medicine to focus on the biological system, whereas nursing focus is behavioral system. The concept of human being was defined as a behavioral system that derives to make continual adjustment to achieve, maintain, or regain balance to the steady state, and that is adaptation. Environment. Environment is not directly defined, but it is defined to include all elements of the surroundings of the human system and includes various presence. Health is seen as an opposite of illness, and Johnson defined it as some degree of regularity and constancy. The behavioral system reflects adjustment and adaptation that are successful in some way and to some degree. Adaptation is functionally efficient and effective. Nursing. Nursing is seen as an extraordinary, a regularity force which acts to preserve the organization and integration of the patient's behavior at an optimal level under those conditions in which the behavior constitutes a threat to physical or social health or which illness is found. Behavioral system. Man is system that indicates the state of the system through behaviors. System that which function as a whole by virtue of organized independent interaction of its parts. And lastly is the subsystem. A mini subsystem maintains a relationship to the entire system when it comes to the environment is not disturbed.
Johnson's behavioral system model is the best applied in the evaluation phase, during which time the nurse can determine whether or not there is a balance in the subsystem of the patient. If a nurse helps a patient maintain equilibrium of the behavioral system through an illness in the biological system, he or she has been successful the role.
Model and the nursing process. The nursing process of the behavioral system model of nursing is the assessment and the diagnosis of a patient. Once a diagnosis is made, the nurse and the other healthcare professionals develop the nursing care plan of intervention and setting them in motion. The process ends with an evaluation, which is based on the balance of the system. Back to you.
Johnson's behavioral system model describes the person as a behavioral system with 7 subsystems. Each subsystem is interrelated with the others in the environment-specific structural elements and functions that help maintain the integrity of the behavioral system.
The focus of her model is with what the behavior the person is presenting, making the concept more attuned with
When
the
the behavioral
psychological
system has
aspect
balance
of
and
care.
stability, the individual's behavior will be purposeful, organized, and predictable. Imbalance and stability in the behavioral system occur when tension and stressors affect the relationship of the subsystems or the internal and external environment.
We are the
We are the
Netizens'
Netizens'
Voice.
And I am Ray
Chris-
Allen Rodriguez.
Christine Haronelio.
This is TFN News. We only have 36 days to go before Christmas.